to What You Missed When You Didn't Exist. I am Corbett, and I am 52.
And I'm Lucy. I'm 23.
Oh, so distant from me.
So distant from you. It's like half your life.
Yeah, it is. Ugh,
Boom.
it's
Feel
terrible.
old now, dude.
I always do.
Do you though?
I feel a
Do you
lot. I
though?
feel it. I feel it.
Feel it in your bones.
I feel it. It's okay.
Oh, what are we talking about today, Dad?
This time around, we're talking about going to the movies. Going to the movies. Would you have been to the movies?
I have been many a time because you're a
See,
big movie buff.
I enjoy the movies, and the movies are fun to go to. Although nowadays, not so much. Most people don't go to the movies as much because to be quite honest, you can have a giant screen television with surround sound and the food that you want to have in your own home. So why
Yeah.
go to the movies at all? But there was a time when movies were a bit of a spectacle. Even in my lifetime in the 70s, there were still big, grandiose films that came out and that would have like intermissions or fanfare, or they would have people come in and kind of pose with you as you went in. Like for Superman, they had a Superman stand, a guy.
Like the cutouts?
No, not like a standee, but like a person who was there as Superman. When I went to go see Superman the movie, there was a person there you could take pictures with them basically. I'm like, hey, I got to see Superman with Superman. Like, it wasn't Christopher Reeve, but But it was a spectacle. It was something to go to. The theater was red velvet curtains all on the side. There was a balcony. There was an intermission. There was an overture. It was quite the deal. Probably another thing that's kind of you've been to a drive-in before, but also like drive-ins were a big thing up to probably the 70s. I think they petered off a lot, except for in the out in the Midwest where we were at.
I looked it up. There's only 300 drive-in movie theaters left in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, there used to be like 4,000, and now there's only 300 left.
But there's still a few, so you can still pull up, see a screen that's the size of a building. Be in your own car and watch a show. I think the first one I ever went to was for Star Wars, the Star Wars film. My dad took us. He didn't go when it was fresh out and everybody was in lines waiting to get in. He went like several months after. But it was neat. I was way in the back of a station wagon watching from one end of the station wagon to the other, and I remember getting Juji fruits. My parents got me Juji fruits because they figured that was a candy that I liked. Why would
those
I
are the
like
rock hard
those?
ones?
No, well, I guess they are, but they're a chewy candy. In case you've never had it, they're a chewy candy that I guess is supposed to be good, but
What makes it not good?
It's a candy, so I really couldn't complain because it was a candy. Yeah, as a kid, you get a box with something in it, and you're like, I guess this is candy, so I'm supposed to like this, so I better like it. And I'd get an occasional piece of popcorn. It was very confusing. I remember watching Star Wars just because for the first time, all the bad guys wore white. The stormtroopers were all in white, and I was used to the Western philosophy of if the good guys wear white hats.
Hey, Darth Vader wore black.
That's true. He was the leader of the bad guys, but it was still confusing as a kid. That's fine, but it was still going to the movies was a spectacle, an event, and I will say going to the drive-in probably not as fun. It's more of a nostalgia thing than quite the fun thing, I don't think, because we took you to the drive-in when you were what was out? Madagascar, I think, was out at the time.
Yeah, it was either that or the Cars movie.
I
don't
can't remember
remember
which
it that
one,
much.
but it was, you were tiny, and it was kind of fun to see. But you get this little speaker and stuff it onto your car window. Oh no, I think when we took you, they had the radio. You tune
Yeah, it
into
was
a
the
radio,
radio one.
and so your car stereo is what ran it, which is probably a smarter way to go. When I went, it was a little box that got put into the car that had a speaker, and it was like a school intercom system.
Jeez.
I have you now, young Skywalker. And it gives you that sense of being at the far end of a hallway in the middle of a sports announcement.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It was not quite the encompassing experience, but it was still an experience. I will say that it's an experience that I'm glad I had. I didn't go to many drive-in theaters as a kid, though. I feel like I've only seen 2 or 3 movies at the drive-in, and most of them were I would go to the theater. And of course, when I went to the Empire Strikes Back, that was when I went to, it was at the Twin in Tyler at the time,
Mm.
and I did have to wait in line like several hours. But
Jeez. Just
oh,
to
it's
buy
so cool.
tickets? Or did you buy tickets beforehand?
No, you wait in line to get in. So you had to wait. And
Oh,
if you
oh, oh.
left, you weren't going to have tickets, and you had to have tickets and be in line, which means you were going in. So you had to wait while the other people were watching the show, and both theaters are running it. So you watched what you could.
Yeah.
No, actually, I think there was only one theater running it. You really had to wait.
Whoa. I guess that would be like a competition thing. That would make sense.
I will admit, though, I never had the experience of people walking out with the, I can't believe that Darth Vader is Luke's father. Everybody else complained about that. I never got that experience.
Oh,
I felt a
really?
little cheated. I felt a tiny bit cheated.
It's okay. You got to have the experience with the boys of them critiquing a whole Star Wars movie and seeing the destroyed looks on everyone's faces.
Yeah, they did destroy. I ruined those guys.
Yeah.
I turned them into movie critics and just ruined their ability to make friends anywhere. But so that's fine.
Oh man, I
But
wish I was there
anyway,
for that. But
the
it's okay.
experience of going to the theater was always kind of special, and I always tried to bring that to you and the kids. Well, you were the kids, so you and the boys. When we would go, I would try to like make sure we got a big old tub of popcorn and everybody has a drink. Costs way more to go to the theater nowadays, but it still costs quite a bit because popcorn should be like a nickel.
Yeah.
And they always charge like $25 or something. Like, yeah, it's a full meal. Like, well, it kind of is because we sit there and eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy. Even like a date night package now is like $40 to go to the movies. It's ridiculous. And like you're sharing a small, it's either one big soda or 2 little sodas. And then you share a medium sized popcorn, which is the size of the soda. And you're like, what is happening? This is not worth $40.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I will admit there was way more stigma with you take your date to the movie and you make out, so it didn't really matter.
So you're paying for the experience.
Yeah, that's the thing I never got. Like, I wanted to watch the movie. Like, just get off of me. I'm trying to watch this. So I guess I ruined it. I don't know.
All the missed opportunities. You missed the experience.
I suppose so. Well, maybe it's like your complaint about me driving across and not stopping everywhere. I stop.
Not
You didn't
really.
pay attention.
You would go to the bathroom. That was it. You're like, okay, next stop is in 5 hours. Get ready.
It's fine.
It's
Anyway,
true.
but going to the theater used to be kind of a big deal, and it definitely lost it. I want to say around the 90s. I think the last big production movie was Jurassic Park.
Like when people could buy movies and bring it home was when it stopped, probably.
No, that's where it slowed down a little, but people would still go see the big ones. And I think the last time I remember waiting in a line to go see a movie was Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a distinctive line that I had to wait in, took about a couple hours, and then we got in. And Jurassic Park was the last big production movie that really seemed like a big deal. I remember going to The Matrix thinking, oh, I'm going to have to wait in line to go see that. Nah. First person there, only person there, walked right in, nobody knew what it was.
Wow.
I think other than the Star Wars movies, you don't have the big fanfare of big crowds gathering up to watch a movie anymore, because why should you?
Depends on there's some like it depends on the cult following, because I remember there was a line for maybe it was one of the new Spider-Man movies. I remember standing in line, I think it was for one of the Harry Potter movies, like one of the last ones to come out. No, there's not really a big line for stuff. I think streaming services kind of ruined it, because now everyone's like, I'll just wait for it to come out on whatever.
Because I can watch it on my big theater at home, and it's all fine.
Well, yeah, you also don't have to spend $50 to go to the movies.
Yeah.
And everyone, actually, I do like the thrill of trying to sneak in your own snacks. You're like, okay, does this work? Does it fit? Do I crinkle when I walk? Like, we gotta make sure we can sneak in these snacks.
As a person who worked in the theater, I can promise you they don't care. It's only when you bring in like a picnic basket of food that it becomes a problem.
It was just funny. And now there's a trend. There's a trend on TikTok where people, like couples, will go out on dates and the girl will try to wear this, oversized shirt or hoodie and they'll tape one of those Midwestern mixing bowls that are like the vomit bowl or the candy
Mm-hmm.
bowl, that bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They take that bowl with like a lid or they'll saran wrap a lid on it full of their snacks and they'll saran wrap the bowl to their stomach to look like they're pregnant. So it'll be like a quote unquote pregnant movie date. And so when they get into the theater, they take the bowl out and then they've got all their snacks.
Well, and you're not going to question a pregnant woman.
Exactly.
Because that's the exact way to get on TikTok for a different reason.
Exactly. So I do miss going to the movies. I think it was always fun. I think the last movie I saw in theaters was I think one of the latest Jurassic Park movies or Jurassic World movies. I think that was one of the last ones I saw. So kind of recently.
What did I feel like the last thing I saw was Avengers Endgame.
No way. That means you haven't been to the movies in
Like
almost 10
years.
years.
No, it's like 5 years.
Endgame came out in like 2016.
No, Endgame came out just before the pandemic kicked.
No way. I'm looking it up.
You feel free to fact check me. I'm just trying to think of another movie that I've seen since then.
Oh, yeah, it was 2019.
Yeah.
We didn't watch it in theaters, though. I remember watching it at home.
No, we watched it in theaters.
Well, it did come out in 2019, so 5 years. I feel like you've been to a movie with the boys recently.
Have I?
Yeah, wasn't there that movie theater down by you?
Oh, you know what? I had to have gone to the Mario movie. That's what it was. The Mario movie. Because I remember I got to watch half of it and then missed the other half or something, and then I didn't get to go to Shazam. It seems like whenever I go to the movie now is when I get an instant call from work.
Yeah, you're just never allowed to go to the movies ever again.
Pretty much. Everybody seems to know exactly when I go to the movies now. Like they call immediately. It's fine. This is where we live.
Yeah.
Well, is there any spectacle for you anymore? Is there any more joy in going to the movies, or is it just do it because it's something to do?
No, I like movie dates. I think they're fun. Okay, so I know you were talking about how it's a spectacle, and I feel like we've talked about this like in the Blockbuster episode or something.
Oh yeah.
But I'll go on date nights to the movies with Nakoa, and we'll get quote unquote dressed up and we'll wear matching pajamas and we'll go to the movies in the pajamas.
Dressed up in pajamas. Gotcha.
You know, but also movie theaters nowadays are way more comfortable and they're made to feel like the home environment because they've got the big fancy reclining Barca loungers and, you can kick your feet up and also lean back and you can have extra space and wiggle room to just exist.
Yeah.
They've got like the 2D, 3D, even 4D movie theaters in some places. And so I think it's a cool idea to experience that. I'm assuming in the future there's going to be, VR movie experience. That would be wild.
Yeah, I could see that. It's a very big possibility.
But I think it's fun. I wish I could have gone to more drive-in movies because I think the idea of just hanging out like in the back of a Suburban. I wouldn't want to watch a drive-in movie in your car seat. I feel like that would be weird. But I think like in the back of a pickup truck or like in the back of a Suburban or like a picnic.
Kind of camping out, basically.
Yeah, I think that's fun. I know people are trying to get more and more projectors so they can play their movies, on their walls instead of on the TV screen. And it's nice. It's very cutesy. Doesn't feel as bingy as, when you sit and watch 5 seasons of Netflix.
That's
in one sitting.
Actually, I do see a lot of like neighborhood screen projector type events where they'll
like watch parties and stuff.
Yeah, they'll invite their neighbors over and they'll watch it. And see, that's kind of cool just because I will admit one experience of the movies is being able to watch it with people so you can talk to them.
Yeah. Well, we're those people though. Some people hate us for talking through movies and things.
Well, I mean, you don't want to distract from the movie, but at the same time, sometimes movies are kind of bad and they're fun to make fun of while you're watching them. Or
oh, yes.
On the other hand, I hate it when there's like, and I know this is going to sound sexist, but it seems like it's always the girlfriend who doesn't understand what's happening in the movie. And the boyfriend is either feeling the need to explain it all or I don't know what the point of it is, but drives me nuts. And it's always like
Oh, yeah.
somebody explaining it to somebody else. Like, I can see what's happening. I don't need the explanation. I know.
No, I definitely get that. But yeah, we are movie talkers. It's a problem. It's not
Then
that bad of a
sometimes,
problem.
sometimes there's just silly moments in a movie that you just can't help but look to somebody and go, "Oh, come on," and you just go, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah. So I was doing research, but I saw that the drive-in movie started in the 1930s
Really?
by some person, and there's actually the oldest drive-in movie theater is up in Pennsylvania somewhere, and it was started in like 1934 or 1936, and it
Hmm.
still runs today. So it's the oldest running drive-in movie theater, which I
Wow.
thought was super cool. But I was wondering if, because it was in the 1930s, that it was because of people trying to still social distance from the flu. And so
Oh,
they were trying to find ways to watch movies with their friends and being able to distance themselves. Or if it was
hmm.
because of like a poverty thing, because not everyone could afford a TV in their house. So they were trying to include
Well, in the 30s,
the.
there were no TVs in the house. There was only
Oh.
movies. So the
Oh.
fact that the fact that cars were just barely becoming a standard,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That's
But I thought that was fun.
that's an interesting speculation.
That was my guess, my hypotheses.
But the what was it, the red flu, the red Spanish flu. That's what that
Yeah,
was.
Spanish flu.
That was from World War One. That would have been pretty much done by early 1920s.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because then people started to party again.
Oh yeah. Partying took place quite a bit in the 1920s. So much so that everything was screwed up by the 1930s. Go
Woohoo!
team.
It was fine.
I don't know if you think
Oh.
about it. It's like, okay, 1920s, everybody party. 1930s, we're broke from partying. 1940s, everybody's mad from being broke.
Yeah.
It's just everything's a trigger for the next event.
Yeah.
But
Wild.
movies have always been kind of an escapism, and that's probably where, well, the folly and fun of the 50s kind of fell into where movies kicked up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Because,
true.
like, oh, now we can go and watch this show, and there's tons of musicals and adventures and things to get our minds off of stuff. Which, I mean, really the big problem in the 50s, I would think, would be the bomb. Because now everybody knew, like, one bomb could end it all.
Yeah, that's true.
So we had to get past that.
Hmm.
But now we're
Yeah.
fine, and everything's great.
Yeah, definitely.
I will say, if you have a chance to go out to the movies, it's fun. Okay, relatively fun.
Yeah. And if you have a chance to go to a drive-in movie theater, there's 300 left. Go visit one of them. Actually, I think they were becoming popular again because of COVID. Because then
Maybe.
you could go to the movies. But
That is pretty neat that the oldest drive-in is from the 30s and it's still around.
yeah, I know. It's
Pretty
wild.
crazy.
I forget where in Pennsylvania. It started with an O, like Orstariga, something like that.
Oshkosh.
Yeah.
Something.
But tad bit of history for you. If
Right.
you're ever driving in Pennsylvania, go drive to the oldest drive-in movie theater and watch a movie.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess this has been what you missed when you didn't exist. But you really didn't miss drive-in theaters. You've been to one.
I also haven't missed the movies either, but
That's true. Well, they are a little different. They're a little different. I
It's
got some
true.
flack over some shows that they're like, well, she would have seen those. Like, well, yeah, but it's not the same.
I did not get the theater of it all. That
Yeah.
was a you thing.
That's okay. Anyway, maybe for the future, we get those
Yes.
VR headsets and everybody can be in their own little bubble watching
That
the
would
show.
be so crazy. Imagine you could like walk and change your perspective in the movie that you're watching.
Well, that would be cool, but I would kind of miss being able to like nudge somebody next to me and say, "Oh, did you see that?" Like, I know they saw it. I'm sitting right by it, but I still gotta nudge them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, I'm sure next time we'll come up with something better.
Okay.